And now we need a drum roll here. The second largest buck of tonight. I can't believe, come on in here, Steve Crocker. You're from Jackson.
Yes, sir.
It's unbelievable that this buck would be the second largest that we've seen this year. This has the points. How many points did we total on this?
18.
18 points with a spread. Get a load of this spread.
30 and 3/8.
30 and 3/8 because we take the outside spread all the way over to this tine. That is incredible. This buck scores higher than the top buck scores in most years. But you almost had him last year.
Yeah, he was within 10 yards of me last year, ball hunting. He come right up out of the swamp, walking right at me. And I was hunting with a release and sights and stuff last year.
All the gadgets and gimmicks.
Yep. And I couldn't get the release snapped on the string. And he stopped 10 yards from me when I got it on.
You could probably hardly breathe. Your heart had to be pounding.
Yeah. And I knew right then when my bow down there was no shooting because he would stop and he'd seen me. And never seen him again last year.
And you have been living with this memory for a whole year. Now, of course, opening day wasn't too bad of a day. The second day of the season, folks, you remember it was terrible. Snowing in the Upper Peninsula, raining in the Lower Peninsula. You didn't go hunting that day, did you?
The second day, yeah, we had snow.
That's when you got this one.
Yep, that's it.
What was the story on this day?
I got out of work at 3 o'clock and I was deciding whether to go or not. And I said, well, what I'll do is I'll call my dad. If he wants to go, I'll go. I called him, he says, yeah. He says, let's go ahead and go out. So we got out and we went through the fence and he told me, he said, get in front of me and load your gun. So I got in front of him, loaded the gun, probably walked 50 yards, come charging right at us.
Again, this buck comes up to you.
Yeah. Yep.
But this time you got him.
Yep. Yeah.
Man, look at this rack with the tines out here, the palmation, the width of 30 and 5/8, an incredible rack. And the thing is, you almost take the prize for the longest stretch without a buck. How many bucks does this make for your record book?
First one.
The first buck. How about that? Congratulations, Steve Crocker, the first buck. However, we have one story that's going to top you for the longest wait. It certainly isn't the biggest buck, but to Chuck Miller from Ferndale, this buck has special meaning. Now, Steve took 20 years to get his first buck. How long have you been hunting, Chuck?
39.
How many bucks have you taken?
This is the first one.
The first one. How many bucks have you seen in that 39 years of deer hunting? Two?
Yeah. Last year I missed it.
You mean in your 38th year you saw your first buck, and in your 39th year you finally got one?
In the same spot.
Boy, I tell you, that's about the story of as much patience as anybody could ever have.
Yeah,
Do they kid you up at deer camp at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you really go out hunting?
Oh, certainly, yeah.
I mean, 39 years. Let me put a tape to this. Of course, we scored on the Stroh's method. You get 1 point for each antler tine, and we can stretch out here. I think we can give you 7 and 5/8, giving you a grand total of 9 and 5/8. How about that? But Chuck, I tell you, your hunting partners wrote us a letter and said you've just been the greatest guy over those 39 years, and congratulations, you've earned it.
Thank you.
Terrific. Chuck Miller. The biggest buck, but not necessarily the most experienced hunter, Mike DeRosa, come on in here. Look at the size of this rack. How many points?
30.
30 points. What's 30 antler points on this. A spread of 22.5, giving it an incredible score of 52.5. Mike DeRosa, you probably have many hunting tales to tell about your years in the woods. Back in the old days, how it was?
Yep.
Yep, Folks, this deer starts his old days. 14 years old, first year hunting. You know, you're going to be asked to do seminars all around the state to talk to groups of hunters and tell them how to get the big ones. So tell me, how did you get this one?
Well, I was sitting there early in the morning, and about 8:20, 8:30, I hear this noise coming from behind me. And all of a sudden I glance over and I see him sniffing the ground. And so I picked up my gun, aimed, I shot, I missed,
You missed?
I missed. The deer took off. It just took right off, and then my dad heard the shot, so he came, and he asked me, well, where's the deer? I go, I missed the deer. And he was kind of angry.
Angry. Did you tell him, how big did you say it was?
Well, I just said it was an average because I didn't really pay much attention to how big it was.
That was an average buck that took off, okay. So after your dad chewed you out a little bit,
Yeah. Then he looked around at the tracks, and it only ran for maybe 15, 20 yards. Then he noticed it started walking again. So he said, well, sit back down, maybe to come back. Thinking, never is he going to see that deer again. So my dad left, and I sat back down. About 5 minutes later, came right back, exact same tracks.
this buck?
This same exact buck.
Do you have any idea what it was sniffing or why it would come back?
Well, it was going to a scrape,
Oh, and you knew that scrape was there?
and I knew it was there.
Oh, excellent. Excellent hunting tip right there, hunting a scrape. So it came back, and then what did you do?
Well, I picked up, shot, and it dropped.
Oh, be darned. What a story. You know, poor Chuck Miller. You know Chuck that was up here, 39 years hunting. He's never seen this many points in the woods. Just this part of the rack. All his hunting life, and you got 30 points, 2 chances at it. Do you buy lotto tickets?
No.
You should. You honestly should. That is an incredible story. Look at this. 30 points. Mike Rosa, you will be asked to talk about this, and I think it's an incredibly interesting story. Mike, congratulations. You have kicked off your hunting career in a phenomenal fashion. It's going to be all downhill from here. Okay? Good. That's a great wrap. I don't know about you folks, but I have never seen a big buck night like this one. It was great to have all these hunters here, all the stories, and of course, our old friend, Howard Shelley. Since back in the early 50s, you've seen these big buck nights. Now, what do you make, Howard, out of the big antlers? Have you ever gotten a buck like any of these?
Never. I've taken a 12-pointer, a 10-pointer, 11, 9, but I've never seen anything quite like what you have here tonight.
Do you think you could have waited 39 years for your first buck?
No, I couldn't have.
Incredible patience, isn't it?
Wonderful,
So
remarkable.
The stories we've heard really go down in the record book, too. And, of course, you know, a point I want to bring out, you've probably seen all our recipes on Michigan Outdoors, and, of course, the wild game cooking contest that Morton F. started. I don't know about you, but I think most hunters and myself, if you shoot it, you eat it.
Oh, we definitely do. There isn't a piece of game that I take, but what, we don't have it for dinner.
And you have been, even this year, at 80 years old, bow hunting, gun hunting, rifle, and you're going out muzzleloader season.
Right.
I tell you, that's what it's all about. There's putting some game on the table. You and I can share the venison. I tell you, and we'll let all of these folks, let's go mingle with them right now. Thanks to you all who made Big Buck Night such a spectacular success. Howard, let's go get some more details on these
Great,
stories.
Right.
That concludes Big Buck Night 1989. It's become legend on public television. I'd like you to remember that only on public television will you find a program like this, an hour-long live special. Pledges are what make public television work, what make this program work. We're going to tell you about it